Thanks very much for your company. Asia-Pacific markets reacting to the heightened tensions between Israel and Iran. Stocks have been tumbling. Oil prices are holding steady. There's volatility for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and gold futures. They're retreating only slightly. Asia-Pacific stocks, including the Japanese Nikkei 225, the South Korean Kospi, both declining by more than 1% after Iran's attack on Israel over the weekend. Notable losses also in Hong Kong and Australia. Oil prices, well, they're relatively stable. Brent crude has lost just 0.14%. It costs $90.32 a barrel. US WTI futures, $0.32 lower, $85.39 per barrel. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies experiencing a sharp sell-off, falling below $65,000 from around $70,000. It's one of the steepest declines in over a year. Other coins also fell. Ether, for example, falling up to 10%. Gold prices are retreating slightly, prices hovering around $2,373 per ounce, although gold bullion hit record levels last week, up by 15% so far this year. Let's go to Dubai and speak to Jamil Ahmed, who's chief analyst at GTC Group. Jamil, good to see you. I mean, the word that markets dislike the most, I suppose, uncertainty. Do stocks always fall during times of war?
Adnan, it's food for thought. And if you say and look at the volatility index, it did jump to its highest level since late April 2022 at the end of last week. That's a move of more than 20%. And of course, late April 2022 was also when we're in the midst of the Ukraine and Russia crisis. So yes, we can say there's somewhat of a risk-off atmosphere. And there's an opportunity here to start taking profit on stock markets and world markets, which have been stretching to all-time highs, no matter which region you look at, whether you look in the United States, the S&P 500, the Japanese Nikkei, or in Germany in the DAX. All those assets hit record highs as early as late 2024 in the first quarter. And now that's an opportunity because we have some fear in the market to start taking profit. But I would say that there's two main assets here that benefit from such tensions. One is oil, because of the proximity of the region to what took place over the weekend. And secondly, the US dollar, which is the funding currency of the world. But also, if there is going to be another crisis, we completely pause the interest rate cut expectations conversation. And it does seem to be more reason to support the greenback.
Yeah, so lots of decisions to be made by central banks around the world. Jamil, when I woke up this morning, I was fully expecting, and bear in mind, I'm not an expert, but I certainly know how the world works during times of conflict. I was expecting oil to have risen quite significantly. Why hasn't it yet?
Well, there was some warning that this event was going to happen over the weekend. As worrying as it still is, and I'm not going to say there's not going to be another escalation or trying to sugarcoat it because these are still very uncertain times, there was notice that it was going to take place. So that was partly reflected in the investor behavior at the end of last week, which is why we had the volatility index spike up. Gold prices hit new all-time highs before essentially profit taking. Essentially, oil prices have moved up by about 20% this year. We are at now our highest levels since the Israel-Hamas crisis started late October. What happens now and what happens next then determines where oil prices can go. But we cannot sugarcoat this. This region is very reliant on oil exports. If we start having disruptions to the supply of the commodity, then yes, we can expect the oil prices to react sharply.
Jamil, in terms of the two specific areas in the world of finance, in other words, cryptocurrencies and gold, which one affects the markets more? Is it still gold because cryptocurrencies are relatively new and gold is so well established?
You just hit the hammer on the nail right there. Bitcoin still is in infancy and cryptocurrencies. But what we can say, if we look at this event in particular, only asset that was open for trading on Saturday night was actually Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And we did see funds coming out of Bitcoin. Bitcoin dropped as much as 8-9% as opposed to more than that at some point before now it's reversed some of those losses. That suggests some of those funds have been taken out of crypto, put back into the US dollar, which has benefited from the situation. But typically, if you look at the historical safe haven context and that gold prices have hit as much as 12 new all-time highs within the past 6 weeks, we would say that gold prices are more important to international finance in the wider context.
Jamil, have a great week. Thanks so much indeed for your insight.